Hey there, great question. What can I do when I'm observing something that if somebody's harming somebody or somebody's harming an animal? What can I do about that in a helpful way? Rather than just sit and stew about it or go to work and tell everybody about it or flip the person off or just even sending super dark thoughts to that person wishing they were dead rather than hurting somebody. Okay. That is a great question, isn't it? And it's fantastic. This is Jeannie from Blaha with Take a Walk with Your Angels, joyflames.com. And I want to touch base on this question because a lot of people are experiencing this drastic light and dark splits, paradigm realities, where they're saying, how can I be in this one frequency state of 500 love or above? And then all of a sudden I find myself over here and it's just dark and people are being so cruel and they're bringing their children into that cruelty and harm and violence. And what can I do about it? Okay. So the angels, guides, spirits, and those in the quantum, kids specifically, encourage us to send as much light, love, compassion, empathy, understanding. You don't even have to look at the objects of your concern. If you don't want to, if you're like, nope, it's too much darkness, I can't even look at it. You don't have to. You can just send a lot of compassion. There will be times perhaps that you have to step up and say something, that you can't stand silently and just look at somebody with disapproval or judgment or condemnation or degradation of any kind. You might have to step up and say, you know what, can you be kinder here to this person or to that animal, or what you doing? I'll give you a little story of something that happened some years ago. I was out actually on a client walk and we happened upon a gentleman who was training his dog. He believed he was training his dog. And he was wailing on the dog, and the dog was actually being thrown up against a tree in his strikes. And I turned to my client and I said, do you mind if I stop for this and have a little conversation with this gentleman? I can't just walk around this or pretend I don't see it or put myself in a state of denial about it. He must be one hurting man to be doing this to his dog. Now, was my initial reaction, I'm just going to go around here and say no. When I see, for me, triggers are beating on kids and animals that the ire comes up and I have to be reminding myself to be really calm and, be in a peaceful state and handle it in a way that can improve the situation and not just put a person on the defensive or have them attacking back because they feel they have a right to hurt their children or their animals. So we just walked up to him and said, sir, this is not the way that you train an animal, and I'm sorry if you were beaten on as a child, but did it do anything for you, like for your education and for where you wanted to go with your life? And he just had a blank stare and said, well, I've just never had a dog this dumb before. I've never had a dog this stupid. I said, sir, dogs are not stupid. They're not dumb. It's just a matter of us understanding them to know how we can guide them in the way that they can comprehend. A lot of you know that I'm an animal interpreter too, so I could hear the dog's thoughts. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I can't understand this man. I don't know what he wants me to do. So I'm trying all these things and they're not the right thing because he keeps hitting me. So I said, you know what? Check out Cesar's books. Cesar, the dog dude out in California. And I said, check out his books, check out some videos. I said, there's a lot of available information that will provide you with a different way to guide your dog so that you two understand each other, and you'll know that your dog is not attempting to go up against you, he's not resisting you, he's not trying to be bad, just as no child is doing that. It's just, can we understand each other and find out how each being learns best, how each being likes to be guided, how each being is tantalized by the world and wants to explore and adventure. And so he said, okay, I'll do that. I said, thank you. Thank you for considering that, because your dog wants to be with you learning with him. And if you can figure out where he's at and he figures out where you're at, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just give it a go. And then I said, have a good night. Walked on with my client, ran into him about a week or two later again, and all of a sudden he came rushing up to me with his dog. He said, thank you so much. I checked out all that information and I can see where I was going, and this is so much better, and he's acting so much differently. And I said, well, that's the two of you working it out together and figuring it out. What is the most peaceful connection that you can have with any animal, with any child? It's not for any of us to determine, what is best for another being. It's not us deciding to control that person by how we come across best or how we live the best. It's seeing how a child or an animal, what is their frame of reference, what is their soul design as far as how they learn, how they're guided, how they love to see the world, what is their observation. Then how many of us can be learning from animals and little kids all the time on top of it? Who says that they don't have the wisdom and the knowledge that many of us maybe aren't carrying around with us every day? So with that, considering that, you know what, you can always approach a situation, think before you go at it when you see something that you're thinking this is so wrong. Because if you jump all over a human being, you know what happens when you get jumped on? The defenses go freaking up, right? They just blaze up, and then we don't get anywhere. So coming from a place of, hey, have you ever considered this? How about this? You know, yes, there are many people that will still receive it as criticism rather than, you know what, I'd love to see you and your dog get along and have a great life together. I would love to see your child and you have a fast forward evolutionary state of wonder and happiness and so much peace together. It's not always received that way. Speaking from experience here. So, but it's worth giving it a go in the state of all of this. How do you determine what's the best way to approach a situation? There are times, yeah, you don't talk, you just send, because you can feel from the other perspective. They are thinking they're doing what is the best thing they could be doing in that moment. Now, is it on all of us to start doing something about all this pain and suffering that are being incurred upon as you're out in your day, walking through your community? It is on all of us. We cannot go anywhere with our humanity if we're all being quiet and afraid to say anything. So it's just all in that approach, isn't it? Perspective. All of a sudden, he also knew I wasn't coming at him with any kind of judgment. I didn't, what for? I just wanted him to know there was an easier way. There was an easier route, another peaceful way in which he and his dog could be having awesome walks together. They could be having so much more fun and connecting in ways that he never even expected. So I do want to add, there's a gent in my life who says that he actually sends 100 million angels light to the situations that he observes, or he's like, whoa, that's painful, or that's hardship, or that's suffering, and that's a lot of harm, or that's violent. He sends 100 million angels light to whatever that is to allow the truth to come out at that person's own time. Because we're not here to control each other's evolution by any stretch of the imagination. So give that a go. Whatever works for you, whatever you find is the easiest to do to respond to a situation, less with the you're wrong, I'm right, and judgment, and more of a, you know what, that person's got to be in a lot of pain, or he or she would not be doing that to another being, to their car, to the other people in their cars, etc. Love you lots. This is Jeannie. Blaha. Take a walk with your angels. JoyHealings.com. Please share this video, subscribe, and if you're into deals, check out the Wings Up Club. Talk to you soon. Bye.